motion carries. Item 5, approval of the minutes from the regular school board meeting on September 24th and the special board meeting on September 26th.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Stocker, second by Rickers to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 6, treasurer report is available on board book. If you have any questions, please let Gail know. Item 6 is the introduction of a new staff member, Mike.
Hi, Haley. How are you? Good to see you. This way, so everyone can go. That's right. Yeah. Clearly, Haley has made an impression because never before has a new staff member had this kind of support. So, Haley, the way this typically works is you can certainly take the floor and just deliver to the audience the information, and I'll get out of your way.
All right.
Fair?
So I'm Haley Green. I'm the new instrumental teacher here at DEMS. I'm originally from Waterford, Wisconsin, which is over by the Milwaukee area. But I went to school at UW-Platteville. I graduated in 24. And just because I love the Platteville area so much, I knew that I wanted to teach in the area. So I'm very happy that I ended up in Darlington. So an experience that led me toward education was I was in 6th grade and I was teaching one of my friends. She was a trumpet player. I was teaching her how to play the saxophone. And during that full lesson, I was like, oh, I really like this. This is really fun. I want to do this. So then I mentioned to my band teacher at the time that oh, this is really something I would want to do. And she was full support of it. She was really happy for me. So throughout the year, she gave me a lot of opportunities to teach some other classmates. And then she also just gave me a lot of extra performance opportunities that the other students didn't get. So just getting all that support from her is really what led me towards this career. Then a little bit more about me is I am in a saxophone quartet with some of my friends from UW-Platteville. We all play the saxophone. We try to get together pretty often just to get some performances. We usually play from high schools, one of the Wisconsin Dells high schools will come down and we'll perform for them. We played for the preschool before. We played for UW-Platteville's commencement, and so one of them has a senior recital coming up, so we're just getting ready to practice for that. And then I'm excited to be part of the DEMS community just because, like I said, I loved this area while I was while I was a student, and so that's how I knew that I wanted to, stay in a rural area. And then Waterford, Wisconsin, it's not a big city at all. It's a little town, and then it's just completely surrounded by farmland. So when I came here for the first time, I was like, oh, this is pretty familiar to what I already know. So yeah, that's everything about me.
Awesome.
Great. Item 8 is donations. We do not have any donations for tonight, so there'll be no action there. Item 9 is discussion action regarding determining the 2026 healthcare insurance deductible and premium amounts.
Mr. President, I have a question.
What's that?
Mr. President, I have a question.
Yes.
During public comments, you asked about public comments that were not related to health insurance. Is this a time for public comments related to health insurance?
Well, I guess I should have had that in there, Brett. I just,
When you indicated that public comments
Yeah.
was not related to health insurance, I thought that
you
means...
got a comment, go ahead with there, 'cause I should add.
Not me in particular, but
No.
if
I just thought nobody had, no. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody have any comments about health insurance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to just read a little statement. Good evening. We're here before you because we want to address an important concern regarding our district's insurance plans and their impact on staff retention. As you know, last year staff accepted a higher deductible as part of the insurance plan changes. We understand that the financial pressures our district is facing. We must also recognize consequences of continued increases in insurance costs. For most of our staff, the potential increase of just 1% on a family plan would translate to an additional $300 per year. Now, that may not seem like a significant amount, but for families on a budget, $300 can start to add up very quickly. And we must also acknowledge that a modest change won't make up for the difference that the district is looking at of over $100,000. It would only yield roughly $20,000 difference for the district, while 1% change would be a substantial impact on individuals and their families. While everyone here is committed to the long-term success of our district and doing our part in understanding our constraints, we also need to consider the long-term impact on our ability to retain staff. As insurance costs rise, we risk losing valuable educators and staff members to other job opportunities that offer more competitive benefits. In a rural district, attracting and retaining skilled professionals is already a challenge. Any further strain could make it even harder to keep the dedicated people who work here. We ask that you carefully consider the balance between managing costs and ensuring that we remain a district where our staff feel valued and supported. It's not just numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about keeping the talented individuals who are essential to our students' success. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Jeff Staffer is going to present here.
Can I say something, Bob?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I just guess I have a question, and you may choose not to answer that. My question is, how much of an increase was implemented in this year's budget for employee benefits, i.e. insurance? Potentially we're here tonight because that was not enough. Probably should have been at least 11% to match last year's increase. And if that was not the case, it's not our mistake that we're going to need to pay for that didn't happen.
I gotta maybe apologize here. Usually before public comments start, I say this, that public comments are for the public to comment. It can't be a back and forth question and answer with the board.
Noted.
Well, with that being said, let's kind of break down what we came up with and what that says for you guys and what it does for the district.
But, sorry, would it be okay if I just kind of say what got us to this point?
Yeah, go ahead,
quickly?
go ahead.
Okay. I don't know, everyone here knows this, I know some people do, but just how we got to this point was, last year, the state, or for many years, while I was here, the state gave us very reasonable or no increases in our costs, and we didn't have meetings like this. Everything was going. Last year, the state gave us a very large increase, and we implemented the deductible that Pat talked about. Even after that, the district still had a cost increase of between $150,000 and $200,000 last year. We're hoping that was a one-time thing. Now this year, the state sent us our information again. Once again, very large increase, between $150,000 and $200,000 again. So we tried everything that we could think of. We went out to bids by the individual companies. We did not get back any bids that would have saved us any money this year. There are 9 companies that were sent proposals. Out of those 9, 2 responded with bids. One of those bids was basically identical to what our proposed plan was from the state. The other one was higher. Another option is the XIII consortium. There's probably 15 schools around here that get together. If you go on your own for health insurance, very risky. Any 1 or 2 major health problems in your group, and the rates can skyrocket. You have no control over it. There's safety in numbers, which is good about the state plan, also good about that XIII consortium. For the last 2 years, we've tried to get into that. They did not accept us. The state will not give them broken out individual data about our district, which is what they want to make a decision if we're a good fit or not. They have a good thing going. They don't want to take new members that are going to raise their average, and they can't figure out whether or not we're going to raise their average without our district information, and the state won't break that out for them. So we've tried to get in there. We can't. We have no choice but to stay with the state plan this year. We've exhausted every other option. So, thank you, that's how we got to this point.
Go ahead, John.
So this brings us to where we would be if we continued exactly what we did last year with the state plan, exact same percentages that you guys, the 88%, the 250 and the $500 deductible. That, like, we didn't change a thing, we just took the price increase for your part and our part. We're up 200,000, you guys are up another 12% increase. We didn't like that. We really, I was trying to save money along with several others in this room. So we looked into a higher deductible plan, which would be a $1,700 and $3,400 individual family. What the district would do though is we would pay, you guys would still pay your same deductible that you did last year, and the district would pick up the rest of that deductible. So you're not paying anything more than you would have last year. The savings would actually drop what you would have paid on the plan that we kept the same. For a family plan, it would drop to another $18 cheaper a month. So that's $200 and some a year cheaper than the plan we're on right now. For a single family, it would drop us about $100 for the whole year, okay? So this is what we're proposing to do. Yes, it is a higher deductible, but you're still only paying the $250 and the $500. So that's not changing. And then the school district's on the hook for the rest of it. If everybody uses their 100% of their maximum deductible, we're gonna pay out about $200,000. Is that what we're doing?
284.
Yeah. And you guys are still at the same place. If you max out, you know, these insurance plans, that's what we're kind of looking at. Is it an increase from last year? Yeah, it is still an increase, but it's not the 12% increase you guys would have been looking at. It's down to a 5.8% increase on your premiums instead of the 12%. I thought it was a very good plan to go look at. That's what we're looking at right now.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
You can ask,
Yes, you go ahead and ask.
yeah, go ahead.
So with that high deductible plan though, there's also a max out of pocket for a family of 5,000.
Yep.
Which means that we're looking at a possible $1,600 more per year that would come out of our pocket after the deductible.
At a maximum, yes, you could look
Yep.
at 1,600.
There's also co-pays on all visits.
That's all out of the deductible though. 100% that goes to the deductible, which we're picking up. So
You're picking up some of the deductible.
everything but the 250 and 500, which you're already paying this year.
Yep,
So we're not changing that part of it. You- I
right.
mean,
But
so
I guess what I'm looking at is, you know, I understand how you're
If
saying.
something catastrophic happened, and your family had to do in the doctors lots of times, you could have to pay $1,600,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
but it's a 10% copay past the deductible. So
but that
any
goes
test, anything like that, we're paying 10% up
To that maximum.
up to that maximum.
Yes, so your maximum, I mean, that's a lot of money if you're gonna do that. And we're still paying, the school district's still picking up that extra large percent, you know, the full deductible part of it. So I get what you're saying on that. So what we're looking at is, hey, we're not gonna raise that, we wanna go less on that premium, keep that premium down lower. And the possibility of going up there, that's always a possibility. I mean, no one can predict the future, right? On that insurance premium. So that's the way we looked at it. I mean, is it a give and take? It is, but we're also trying to drop that premium down, which is $1 in your pocket every month, every paycheck to get you.
Your premium's gonna be lower than it would have been under the plan from the state that they sent us to start with. Your deductible's the same, so premium down, deductible the same, and then on the other end, there's a chance that you could have 1,600 out of pocket if you're, have a lot of stuff going on. But that's worst case scenario.
But at 10% even, I mean, that's, say you got 50,000, that's only, you know, you're still, at 10% of 50,000 still, you know, you're past that already. So I mean, that's 1,600, that's where we're at with it.
And I feel like, I know you guys know this, but when the state continually, this has been 2 years in a row, gives us an increase of 3-point-some%, and then the staff gets a salary increase of 3-point-something%, everything is kind of going along nicely, going well, and then the state sends us a 15% increase on a big number. Something has to be done.
And just keep in mind, everybody, I know this is a lot to everybody get around, and I know everybody's frustrated. But we're not the only ones in this position. Every school district, every private business, everybody's in this position right now. And I'm starting to hear a lot of things come out. I heard somebody, I think FHA in the hospital out of Illinois, just come out yesterday. That anybody in network, they were gonna take care of. Anybody outside of network, you're on your own. So, I mean, everybody is struggling with insurances right now. As Jeff said, we're trying to eliminate the increases for everybody. We're trying to do best case scenarios here for everybody. This is what we're trying to do here. But it's a cooperative effort that everybody's gotta work on this. Cause I've seen some scenarios. You know, I seen a scenario last year, a school district had a $9,000 and $18,000 deductible on a single and a health plan. So we're sitting here at 17 and 3,400. So unfortunately, these are the things that we have to step outside the box to do until state or somebody gets this healthcare figured out. You know, and right now there's nothing. You don't see anything on the future that they're gonna get this thing figured out, but eventually they're gonna have to get this thing figured out.
So yeah, you guys were looking at, on the plan that we're currently on, you were looking at, on a family plan, $400 and some odd increase per year. That's what you guys were gonna be looking at. if you kept it. $408 exactly, for a family plan.
Okay.
Would have been the increase if we left this plan exactly the same and did nothing with it. We're dropping that down, cutting it more than half, and looking at that direction. So, I mean, that's why we came up with this idea.
What are the options? What are the alternatives? We continue to pay what we pay, but we eliminate teaching positions? I mean, that's what we're faced with, right?
It's gonna,
We don't have enough money
eventually
in
come
the
to
checkbook
that.
to
I
pay the
mean,
bills.
if the cost of our salaries and benefits keeps going up comparatively to the income that we bring in as a district, we get a 3%, the cost of the teachers' benefits and insurance keep going up at 12%. That's what it would have been this year. I mean, you see where it keeps lowering and lowering. So if we can keep that in check around, 6-8%, then we're doing a lot better job. That's what we're kind of looking at.
I asked that question to clarify, because I know there were some things discussed in, committee that I wasn't there or privy to, so, because we ran into the same situation in city government, which, by the way, they're paying more now too. I think the counties, they're paying like 80-20 now. I mean, it's, whatever, it doesn't matter, but one thing that I heard you say, Pat, was about appreciation, and I don't want the fact that there's not enough money in the checkbook to be linked to whether or not we appreciate you. I mean, that was something we ran into in the city too. I was always very, very careful with my guys. I would sit them down and go through the budget with them and say, there's no money. And that was so important because it matters. It has nothing to do with the fact that we didn't appreciate the officers. We have no money. That was what it was boiled right down to. And we can get rid of police officers, or we can all pay a little bit more in healthcare.
Well, and I think part of this plan, why we worked this out, is we wanted to put more dollars in your pocket to make things stretch out a little better. Is there some risk at the very top end? Yes, there is. That's kind of where we're at with that. The district's still on the hook for the 200 and some thousand.
Yeah, so I just wanna make sure, I don't know what's gonna happen in the end. From my perspective, I wanna make it very clear that it has nothing to do with Weatherly Valley View. That's my perspective, I'm speaking for myself. And I do agree, we need to make sure we're considering what other districts in this area are doing, we have to retain our employees, so.
How long does the open enrollment period go to before they have?
October 31st.
What is it?
October 31st.
Okay, so there isn't gonna be,
That's for the employees. For the make a change at the state level, it's October 15th.
okay. And the only reason that I'm saying that is, I know medical associates, and we just had a meeting today at the hospital. Howard Markline is meeting with medical associates executives today to discuss some of the issues that they're facing, and whether or not, I know that right now, if you were to take the medical associates, you can see the primary care providers in Lafayette County, but you can't see the specialists. And I know that and it's not just our hospital, but it's Dodgeville, it's Platteville, it's Lancaster, the ones that are surrounding. So I don't know where that's gonna lead, and whether or not, I know that there was some optimism, whether or not that would alleviate some things. So, and that's kind of why I asked. And Chief Marie had mentioned today about, hopefully they would have some sort of an answer by the time the open enrollment period ends. Whether or not that would change some people's minds on what plan they would take. Because my understanding is medical associates is considerably cheaper, however, it limits your access to certain physicians in this area.
Can I just ask one more question? So just from a numbers standpoint, this is gonna save us, the school, about $75,000 in terms of premiums.
What it would have been.
What it would have been.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
exactly right.
So it's gonna save about $75,000. We had probably a 3.5% increase built in, which would be right around $70,000 to $75,000. I'm assuming we budgeted somewhere around 3.5% natural increase into the budget for this year. So you're looking at $145,000 that is a wash, right? We had 75 built in, we're saving 75, so that's $145,000. That's essentially, yep, we're kind of right there.
You're forgetting about all the deductible that we're looking at.
But I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay, go ahead,
But
continue,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I'm on the same page.
So that's kind of where we're at. The deductible could be, if everyone maxed out, could be up in the $280,000 range. Realistically, we're probably 60%.
Is what I.
So I mean, that brings that number down to about $175,000 to $177,000. So really what we're talking about is, for $30,000 more, in theory, you could wipe out the $500 and $250 deductible. You could cover the whole deductible if we're working off these numbers of about 60%. But again, we don't know, you're right, because...
Yeah, I do understand where you're at, Pat.
Yeah.
I was trying to, when we worked on this plan, we were trying to do as best apples to apples that we possibly could. And this is the plan last year. If we had that plan this year, this is where we're gonna be at. And then we broke it, kind of went backwards from that. This is the plan that now we're proposing, and this is where we would be. And that's how we that's where I said, hey, let's leave that 250 and 500, that people do the same exact thing that we did last year. The district is still gonna take on, I don't foresee going all the way up to 290,000. I mean, you never know. We don't know, there's another pandemic or whatever goes on, we could shoot through that. But, yeah, if you hit that 65–70% number, then we're looking at about 100 and, I think I had written down 180,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be the increase of the school district part.
So that type of discussion, I feel like is very reasonable to have what you just said, but I would feel better about it if we had 5 years of history that showed that over time we average 50, 60, 70, whatever %, then I think we'd be more comfortable basing future projections on those numbers, but we never had a deductible here to get any idea on until January. So there's no history to really guess. Could it be 50, 60%? Sure. Could it be 90%? I think a few years from now, once we have more information,
Even next year,
people would be
we
more
could run off a better number base. I'd more, you know, if the numbers came in at this much of that deductible is used across the whole board of the 100 and some employees that take the health insurance, then we can say, oh, this is where that number came out. This is where we're at with it. This makes sense to, you know, but as having a backstop is kind of important as a budgetary issue on my thought process. And you don't take as big a hit on the premiums. Any board have any questions on this?
And always
There's a few
continue.
things going on here, but
Yeah.
that's the basics of it.
And what we do here at night, always remember that come January, we're gonna look to try to get back in the CISA plan. We're always going to be looking to do things to try to, we're not gonna sit on these morals, we're always gonna look to see if we can do something better. That's the CISA plan, that's private business, you know, private insurance, whatever. We're always gonna be looking at stuff, so.
So, just to be clear, tell me again the deductibles, they,
1,700 for a single, 3,400 for a family. The employee is still paying the first $250 and $500 deductible, just like single versus family. So they're gonna pay the $250, we pay the first, then we pay after that to the 1,700. Okay? The family, they pay the first 500, we pick it up to 3,400.
what, out of pocket for staff, what's the risk?
The
What's
maximum
an additional-
amount, that, you're talking about the max. The max is 2,500 for the individual, but that takes out that 1,700 first, so the maximum they'd ever have to do is $700 for a single, and for a family, it goes up to 5,000, so the maximum they'd be picking up is 1,600.
Yeah, 800 for a single, right?
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely
No,
right. I said
yeah.
17 and
Yeah.
25 is
Yeah.
800. You're
800 and
absolutely right.
1,600.
Yep.
And how much does that change from what you?
We have
say,
no,
for
we have no
example,
max. Once you hit your deductible, that's it.
Yeah.
They
they're
cover
at
100%.
1,000, yeah, 500 and 1,000, and we've picked up 250 and 500 of it.
Okay.
Of the deductible. So their deductible's not changing, only on plan name, and because we're picking up the full deductible after their initial 250 and 500.
I think it would be true that not everyone's gonna have to pay that 1,600, but everyone is gonna save the 200 on the premium.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I mean, yes, there is some risk, but we're not going up to some of the plans we've seen out there are 6,000 and 12,000. You know, and then you start talking about 3,000 out of your pocket, and that was, you know, that's another incremental step out. We didn't want to go there. We didn't see the financial gain on that. But spreading the deductible, spreading the premium down, district's still on the hook. That's what we came up with for a plan. So, I mean, and I agree with Jason and Bob saying that this is not something that we take lightly at all. We spend a lot of time going through different plans and scenarios, reaching out to different insurance companies. There is no easy solutions to any of this stuff. And it doesn't get any easier. So, I mean, we're very happy that you guys keep working with us, because we're doing the same thing. And, yeah. And if somebody else has a question, I think I'm open for a question if you have one. This is, you know.
I have a question about the deductible. With the higher deductible amount, do we have to keep submitting our bills then up to that 3,400?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, you turn them in into.
So we have to pay out the 3,400 and then get reimbursed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that how it is this year? They actually pay it, they just can't give us the.
We can't,
You can't just give us, I'm asking you, the same question.
Yeah,
They can't have that $500 bill and you submit that bill to Steve?
No, it goes through,
You have to have.
third party
It goes to a
company.
third party, like, is it,
And-
we use
Employee-
EBC?
EBC, Employee Benefits Corporation.
I know, that's
So,
how
I mean,
I.
I see where you're going, I
Because
see where you're at, Pat.
yeah, you could in theory have to cut a $3,600 check before we get reimbursed.
Steve, how long does it take from the time they give it to you before the money gets to their account?
It can vary depending on when they submit it, because they look at stuff weekly. Then they submit it to us to make sure that they still work here and that they're still in good standing. And then we cut a check to them, and then it's reimbursed to the people, so.
What has been your guys's, what has been somebody's experience this year on reimbursement timeframe? Week, 2
2
weeks,
to
month?
2 to 3 weeks,
2 to 4 weeks.
yeah,
Is
If
that-
approved.
if approved, that's the other
Steve, let me
problem.
ask this question. Is that,
A lot of people
is that how
struggle.
EBC has it set up, or is that how we as a school
That's how
district?
we have it set up.
Is there any reason we, so, and the only reason that I'm asking this is because we have, obviously I take me as insurance through Argyle, who has EBC, and it's not, I mean, it's a pain in the rear end because they seem like they're always 6 weeks behind. However, EBC actually issues the check.
We don't
directly.
do that.
Huh?
We do not do that.
Is that a possibility, that's something that we can do? So
Because
EBC, basically what happens is the bill is submitted, EBC gets it, EBC then cuts the check to whoever
the
the,
provider.
yes. And then, however, I will tell you that it's not as smooth as it appears, because they seem to be, they're always lagging, and you sometimes have to make a few calls and say, I all of a sudden get a bill from my provider saying, you owe, and it seems like it's the Madison Radiologist Group, and it seems like they're always the ones that are always on you about the bills. However, you just tell them that EBC seems to be 6 weeks behind, please call me back in 6 weeks if you've not gotten, whatever the difference is.
Maybe we need to look into that,
So, I mean, if that's something that can help, I mean.
especially with the higher deductible.
Yes.
Yeah, because that I think would be a concern for some people of,
Yeah, no, and I get that, I
you
mean, I
know,
think that
not
that's
everyone's
something.
got 3,600 to wait on a month or whatever, so.
And then we're able to, like, on EBC, we're able to log on to, like, so they have a benefits page, and you're able to look on to see how much of your deductible that you've used, or how much that they've paid, and everything like that, because that's always the first thing that they ask us, but. I mean, that's the same, similar system that Argyle uses.
A couple of things on that. We had it set up that way just because it would go directly to the employee, so EBC would not have to cut checks to all the different providers. I don't know if they would charge more for that service. I don't know, because
It's part
that's
of what
not
we
what
wanna
we,
look into.
that's not what we were quoted.
Yeah.
Also, remember that when you submit it, it's the explanation of benefits, which should be the first thing that you're getting from the insurance company, not necessarily the bill. So sometimes if you did your things timely, you might be able to submit that explanation of benefits, get your reimbursement before you even got a bill from the hospital, because some other people were saying the hospital or the providers, there's a lag in when you see the bill.
So maybe a little bit of employee education on that explanation of benefits turned into.
And, yeah, they've been doing a good job of that. It's
Okay.
just that some of them wait, and we're just gonna do it all at once at the end.
Sure.
So then they
Okay.
only had to go through the process once, but now if it's a larger dollar amount, you could do it more frequently.
Well, it gives us something to look into in 2 months there. Okay, thanks, Steve.
Okay, Gail, what motion do we need here tonight?
The district, we're gonna switch to the 1,700, 3,400 deductible lane of the state plan. Out of that deductible, the district is gonna cover everything other than 250 for a single and 500 for a family. And the district is gonna pay 87% of the premium.
That sounds correct, probably the deductible. So we're gonna switch to 1,700,
Said
single,
87%.
3,400 family of the state plan out of that deductible. The employee is responsible for the 250, 500. The district will cover.
Anything beyond that.
It's coming.
Yeah.
You said we're responsible for 87%?
Yeah.
So we're upping our percentage as well?
Yeah. I mean,
That would have
That
been
was
nice
never
to
Because I was
discuss.
gonna say, that wasn't, I didn't hear that in the discussion.
The numbers that we ran off of were a dollar amount which equated to the school district doing 87% was what the numbers I explained to you guys. So, I mean, those are, the numbers that we talked about were based on 87% of that, district paying the 87 instead of 88. That's what all the numbers were based off of what we ran.
Stacy, you wanna read that motion back?
Okay, so, we are gonna switch to the $1,700 single plan, $3,400 family plan. Family, how do you want that stated? Of the state plan? Did you say of the state plan?
Yeah.
Of the state plan, out of that deductible, the employee is responsible for the $250, $500 deductible. The district will cover beyond that up to the $1,700, $3,400.
Yep.
Well, she's right in there, can you? Sorry, I'm the new guy on the board, okay, so I'm learning a few things here. Pat said something that's just kind of sticking in my brain here. For $30,000, we can keep it the way it is. Is that accurate?
No,
No.
not even close. It was 190, hold on. The increase was 278,000. No, that's, where's the right number?
If we keep it the same, it's a $157,000 increase.
That's a good question. Is that?
So, yeah, it was, you're right, it was a.
It was a $157,000 increase to stay on the same plan.
Yeah.
What I was saying,
But then the teachers also were paying an extra 12% on top of what they're paying this year compared to what they would pay next year also. So a 12% increase on
Your premium.
your premiums also.
Mhm.
And we
So
haven't mentioned the
total of
copay?
that is much more than 150.
Under what it would have been, the teachers would have been paying $40 a month more, their deductible would have been the same, and their co-pays and everything would have been the same. Under this plan, their premium is less than the,
It's $8 less,
it's, yeah,
right?
if we kept everything the same, $40 increase, same deductible, same co-pays and no co-pays.
No copays.
Yeah, under this plan, the premium is below that, the deductible is the same, but the co-pays went up.
Yeah, I get that we're facing the same sorts of things in city government, but it's $30,000.
Well, it's.
No, he's talking about the $30,000 was just the $250 and $500 deductibles that the employees would be paying right now. That was the $30,000. Does that make
Yes.
sense, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's
Right.
a side part of that.
That's the way I understand it. Wow.
It's a mess.
Question though, on the co-pays, when you reach your deductible, if you go above that, then co-pays stop, or you're continuing to pay co-pays?
Copay stop.
No, the
At the
deductible,
5,000.
the school is
Or
paying
the-
most of the deductible, and your co-pays are included in that, you're not paying anything. Once you pass your deductible, you're responsible for the co-pays in between where the deductible stops and the 5,000. You are gonna have some co-pays, if you go past your deductible for a while there, once you hit 5,000, then
Then your
everything
co-pays
stops.
stop.
Yeah. if
So that's where you get into that theoretically, you would be on the hook for that 16, total would be 1,600, is in that gap period.
Including co-pays that would be
Yeah.
included in that, if that's, does that make sense? Troy?
I think, yeah, I think that's a good clarification.
everybody's saving about 200 on their premium versus what it would have been, and not everyone's gonna have to pay that extra 1,600, but some people might.
But potentially maybe no change for some employees.
Some
Or
people
a
might
cost
save
savings of
some,
$200.
yeah, some people might save $200.
Yeah, if you
If
don't
you're
go
healthy,
through
you
your
don't know a doctor,
deductible.
you'll save some.
If you just use, I mean, if you just do your family checkups and stuff like that, then yeah, but you never know. Insurance is not for the known, it's for the unknown.
So are we looking for a motion?
Yes.
I move that we approve it as presented.
Have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Motion by Rucker, second by Staffer to approve the motion as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 10, discussion regarding building updates, Gail.
We're in the middle of a process of trying to figure out how to get some extra space in these buildings. We have a debt coming off in 2 years that we can leverage to about a $6 million building project without affecting the tax rate in the community. We're looking at different options. DIMS, I'd say we have a consensus pretty well nailed down. We need 2 4K rooms out in the one end, and we need 2 other rooms out the other end. Cost of about $2.4 million. DIMS will be set for a while. At the high school is where there's more uncertainty, or I should say maybe more options of what we might do. We're looking at everything from building brick and mortar on to building a standalone. A pole shed sounds kind of chintzy, really nice shed, you know, separate, but it'd be for tech ed, the welding in the woods, but have their own kind of suite out there. So the update for the board that was most recently on a tour would be that Alliance came and looked at our parking lot. There's a power line that runs right through the high school parking lot. This structure, no matter what it is, cannot be built over that power line underground, and there was a thought that that might be $100,000+ to move that line. They came, looked at it, sent me already an email saying it's gonna be around $7,000 to just reroute it. And I think most of the reason for that is there's no gas line underneath there. I had thought there might be power and gas going in that direction. Power goes here, 7,000 moved, the gas line goes the other way, it won't be affected, so that was very good news.
So it's kind of a non-issue. Right. 7,000, part of the $2 million, or whatever it's. Okay, good.
Any questions on that? If not, then, item 11, presentation by district administrator regarding school report card.
This will be very quick. This is something that came up. 90% of people here won't know what we're talking about, but at a previous meeting, a question came up about our school report card, and this is from last year's information. I already presented this at a board meeting about a year ago, but the idea, if you look at the report card and compared to our neighbors in this area, this area, we finished fourth out of the 4. And our demographics, you know, are such that everybody knows we have a high percentage of Hispanic students here. All of us in here, we look at that as an opportunity, you know, not a challenge, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, but it's just a fact that if you don't read and write in that language, you're not gonna do as well on testing. So if you break it down and you compare the white students in our school to the white students in these other schools, we're not fourth, we're second, third, fourth, second. Why are we comparing to Platteville, Dodgeville, Monroe? Why didn't I have on here Mineral Point, Cuba City, Shullsburg, you know, the ones that are more our neighbors? Is because the state does not break out racial information like this unless you have a large cohort. where no way you personally identify any kids. So Mineral Point, Cuba City, Shullsburg, if they've got 5 Hispanic kids or whatever it is in their district, it's not enough of a cohort to break out. These are the only ones around us that data was available for. So, how was that?
Any questions for Kale on that? Okay, item 12 is discussion and action regarding the district library plan. Cory?
So the DPI is now, I don't know if anyone needs a paper copy. There was a digital one that hopefully was sent out to you. Anyone want to look at the paper copy? And they require us every 3 years to submit a library plan. And this is basically like what you have already seen 3 years ago. It's just running out in 2016. Why did you want one? The only thing that changed was I updated the current and prior practices and also possible area of growth. For example, I've written some more excellence in education grants since then to help with different programs. We also, one of the things I wanted to be able to do was get brand new furniture for the Dunn's building, since we're still dealing with furniture from 1996. And we were able to get new furniture with the help of administration for our elementary section. So that was a change that went on. I'm continuing to offer flex in-service hours for teachers. So there really wasn't much of a change from what you passed 3 years ago. It was just some slight changes as I was updating some of the things that have been added, and some of the things we still need as a district and librarian staff need to work on in the future. So basically, we just need to, the board needs to approve it, and then Mr. Jackson will submit the new version of this to the DPI. Does anyone have any, does anyone have any
This
questions?
doesn't tie into a budget somewhere, does it?
No.
Right? I
No.
don't think so.
No, this is just, what we're doing, what we'd
Yes.
like to do. There's no money involved. It's just our plan, our future-ready plan for the district.
Any additional questions, Cory? If not, I need a motion to approve the library plan.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Staff, second by Zoom Builder to approve the library plan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 13, Superintendent's Principal Activities Directors and Building and Ground Reports. Gail?
I just have one thing. You're gonna see at the Citgo station coming up, a pump with the Redbird on it. We'll get 2 cents per gallon from sales on that pump, the promotional thing they're doing.
Any additional questions
So
for
make sure
Gail?
you fill up that pump. Can't plug it.
Okay, thank you, Gail. Mike?
All right, we have our Rosie staff members of the week. Did you pass those out there?
You can go.
Those will be coming out. Dana Wadig, our 2-4 special education assistant for the week of September 29th, and Stephanie Ackerman, a second grade teacher for the week of October 6th. Compost collection, we've gone 2 different days. The compost bin that we put on the grounds, we've put a cover on that, so no longer sponsoring raccoon breeding out there, or feral cat smorgasbord. But the kids have done a good job, and again, we're just trying to add something when it comes to that piece for our students to learn about environmentalism and things like that. DEM's Positive Home Communication Project, I couldn't remember if I had talked about that at the last board meeting, but again, an effort at DEM's to build those positive home communications and those connections with families. Gotten some good feedback. Essentially, we ask staff members, teachers every Friday to determine a family to whom they'll reach out and just have that positive home communication. So trying always to find new avenues to partner with stakeholders. Our DEMS Core data team, I just want to give them a shout out as it comes to grade level meetings, and we've had fall data collection. Of course, data is meaningless unless you're looking at it, and so we're using that data to determine win groupings, some intervention tools, progress monitoring for learners, and then for our K-3 friends, the development of personal reading plans or PRPs when the data suggests that they need that additional help and additional progress monitoring. So it's gone well. Homecoming week, we had a lot of participation from both staff and students when it came to activities and dress-up days. Middle school athletics, the fall version coming to a close. Cross country has its last meet on the 14th of this month, volleyball on that same day, and then football will be done on October 16th, so I'll get you some participation numbers at the next meeting for those fall activities. And then just some quick curriculum notes. We have some essential standard work going on this Friday. We also have our DEMS math team meeting. They have their second meeting as they continue to elevate our focus on the math portion of things. And then next week, our instructional priorities subgroup will be engaging staff in some learning around that.
Questions for Mike? If not, thank you, Mike. Mitch?
Yeah, Casey, Dwayne, Tyler wanted us to give a shout out to them. They've been really stepping up. We've been shorthanded. I know, and Dwayne isn't with us at this time. Linda Stefford has been subbing for us and helping out in that vacancy. Homecoming was last week. We had a lot of great activities going on. Big thank you to Carmen Riley, who just kind of does a lot of planning, preparing for that event, does a lot of behind the scenes stuff for us, and just keeps the Redbird spirit flowing. Also, RAC took on a pancake breakfast this year, and then NHS and Spanish Club brought food vendors in and provided vouchers for students on that day as well. Went very smoothly, went well. And just a lot of staff and student involvement was very present, which was great to see. Educator effectiveness, one thing we talked about, Mike and I rolled out new forms as we had switched systems, so that has been presented to staff, and that will start rolling here as the month of October gets going. We do have an upcoming ALICE drill, or a safety threat drill. DHS is where that threat will be present. We're in the midst of planning that, and that will be taking place in the month of October. Just a note on there too, just with just safety concerns as well, we did lock down some more doors, so in the morning, just the auditorium, the front entrance, and then the library entrance door are the ones open for kids to come in. Our locker room door does have some timing open due to weightlifters. And
are they staffed? I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, they're not staffed at this point in time, but they open at 7:30.
We encourage them to be staffed.
Sure.
I'll just mention that again.
Yep. And I'll keep that in my mind. Thank you, Jason. Field trips, we had our American Players Theater performance for our juniors. We had the UWP College Fair, World Dairy Expo, and then UWP Construction Day was today. Just some upcoming things on there, a couple more field trips, but really we're going to hit the end of the first quarter at the end of the month. So.
Any questions, Mitch? Not, thank you, Mitch. Lindsay?
We have girls golf finished their season last Wednesday, placing 8th at the regional meet in Evansville. We had one golfer, Ellie Rickers, received honorable mention all conference. So congratulations to her. Volleyball, we have senior night tomorrow night. They have their seating meeting on Sunday, so we'll see where that takes them. And their all-conference meeting will be Sunday, October 19th in Mineral Point. Football, we have senior night on Friday night. Playoff brackets are going to be released next Saturday, the 18th. And then on the 19th, we will be hosting the all-conference meeting here in Darlington. Cross country, heading to Albany on Saturday, and then next Thursday, their conference meet at Coal Acres.
Any questions for Lindsay? If not, thank you, Lindsay. I would like to welcome our new building grounds director, Ben. You got anything to say right now, Ben? I know your head's probably spinning a little bit.
The biggest thing is the old boiler is back up and running, but it won't be turned on permanently till tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So they gotta do, essentially they're gonna do a big preventative maintenance on it while it's down, just to make sure it's set to go. He noticed a couple things that maybe were out of tune But he'll be here at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then that boiler will be coming online to at least get some heat pumping through.
Okay, thank you, Ben. The remaining items, .5 technical director candidate and FML leave requests are appropriate for executive session. Before I take a motion to go in there, this is, School Board Appreciation Week, and I'd just like to thank all of you guys who are sitting at the table tonight. The motion, those are appropriate for executive session under the Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, Paramount 1, Paramount C. Need a motion to go into closed session?
Yes.
Motion by Richter, second by Grass, to go into closed session. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Same sign, motion